Here I am. Wow. Do I look like a hot mess today? All right. All right. Well, gotta look decent. Let me cover myself. All right. All right. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new episode of Hot Topics. My name is Gabrielle Crichlow from a Step Ahead Tutoring Services, and welcome to a brand new episode. So, if you are new to the show or you have no idea what this show is about, this is the show where we like to have that real talk. We like to have those open discussions. We like to take people's business and put it all out in the open. But we like to do all this for the purpose of education, right? So this is not your gossip hot topics. This is your educational hot topics. And today, I am excited about today because one, I'm not doing it from my car. And two, I have a repeat topic and a repeat guest. So I'm going to try to switch things up a bit for the next few episodes. So let me tell you what the topic is for today. So the repeat topic for today is, what does it mean to be a man, part two? So we are, or is it part three? Whoa, I think it's actually part three. Sorry, guys. Let me just make that quick correction there. All right. Sorry. It's actually part three. What does it mean to be a man? Part three. Whoopsie. And we are bringing it back for the third time. I am excited to be having this conversation about manhood and male stereotypes and what does all of that mean. And I have a returning guest who is sitting on the hot seat one more time. His name is Chris McMichael, and I'm going to have him tell you about himself. So it's one of the things I'm switching up a bit here. So I'm going to bring Mr. Chris to the stage, and I'm going to have him tell you about himself. So I'm going to bring him to the camera right now. Hi, how you doing today?
Hi, Gabrielle. I'm well. How are you?
Good, good. So I said I'm switching things up a bit. So can you tell the audience about yourself?
Yeah, so I from originally from the South, born in Mississippi and Louisiana. Grew up a little bit, and grew up hunting, fishing, all the outdoor stuff. A lot of soccer, a lot of sports, and got married. And well, went to Louisiana Tech, got married, and then moved to Colorado, which is where I'm at right now.
All right, awesome, awesome. And while you are in solo view, tell us about your book.
So my book is Male Oppression. It's a book because I we've gotten away from how to be men, and what it kind of means to be men. And so it's a book, kind of a review on, what men used to be, and sort of the transitions to where we got to where we are right now.
And where can people buy your book?
It is available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, um, through our website, maleoppression.com, uh, everywhere that ebooks are sold.
All right, thank you so much for that. All right, so you were on my show before. We were talking about what does it mean to be a man, and we got into some interesting discussions. So I wanted to kind of continue with that discussion on, I don't know if you remember what we talked about before.
Yeah, I do, and it was a lot of fun.
All right, what do you remember?
Uh, Actually, the biggest thing that I remember is towards the end, you were asking me about the boys will be boys portion. Uh,
Yes, let's go ahead.
we were really getting into that one. So
All right, can let's want to rehash that one?
we can. I don't think all that much has changed really. So, but yeah,
Okay.
whatever you want to talk about, I'm good.
All right. So yeah, so we were going into Matter of fact, let's just jump right into it. So we were talking about common male stereotypes, and one of the stereotypes we talked about is boys will be boys. And I do remember we said something poignant that men are allowed to be disrespectful um, to women. It's sort of expected, and I would even say even encouraged. And what remind us what your thoughts about that stereotype.
Completely disagree. One, you should never be disrespectful to anybody, especially females. Um, Men need to be more look back on the chivalric code, the code of chivalry from medieval days, and use Stoic principles, where you're treat people with respect, honor, discipline, love, and you rarely ever go wrong. And so when people are trying to say, boys will be boys or men are allowed to be disrespectful, one, I don't really see that very much anymore. Two, it does go both ways. You have females who are disrespectful to males. You have males who are disrespectful to females. You're never going to be able to get away from bad people or bad circumstances or just bad time in people's lives. And so you're always going to have that. You're always going to have negativity. It's just rising above it to be better.
So I think I think that stereotype usually comes from when like boys break things. It's usually like vandalism or assault. Um, I don't know if I would say sexual assault, but it seems to be more like I don't know if I want to say petty crime. I would say more of like maybe soft crime. You tend to hear it. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it goes back to the discipline portion where you have to be respectful of other people's stuff. And you can't be going around breaking stuff and just getting into mischief. One of the things that, we see a lot of is, people, especially males, getting in trouble at early ages when they're in their teens. It tends to be because they don't have enough to do in their life to work. Because if you're tired, you don't have energy to go out and break stuff. So working from early ages, working in yards, helping neighbors do stuff, old Boy Scout thing, help a lady across the street, stuff like that. Where as a society, and it's actually worldwide, it's not just the United States, the lack of helping other people is gone kind of by the wayside, and that's something we need to bring back. And as males, we should definitely be at the forefront of bringing it back.
So, are you saying that um, the reason why boys are getting into, lack of a better term, so much trouble, is because they're not active in a lot of activities, or they're not keeping busy?
A lot of times, in high school and whatnot, when boys are really heavy into athletics, those tend to be the boys who aren't getting into trouble as much. Because when they get home, they're usually tired. And sports teaches respect and discipline, all kind of wrapped up in that same fashion. And I think that's one of the bigger aspects for younger boys or for younger men.
What about teenage boys?
Well, that's kind of where I was going. Younger men, as in teenagers.
Oh, so now what about college men?
Go to the gym, work out. It takes a conscious effort to be a better person. And
Yeah.
when you start working on yourself, when you start thinking about your actions, when you start reflecting on knowledge,
Hmm.
reading is a really good one. Get that mind active and really start taking the initiative to yourself to be able to be a better person.
Well, even in your suggestions, you said athletics, sports. That's, stereotypically male. You know, why not dance, play music, poetry, arts?
Absolutely. Yeah, anything to get your mind working. The reason I tend to go with sports is because it's a physical activity. It gets the male testosterone kind of out. And you know, being able to get the physical out, you will be able to get your mind where it's not as anxious, where it's not, finding something. And then sit down, write poetry. There's nothing girly. Some of the best poets in the world have always been men. Um, Shakespeare, playwrights, you name it, men are great at it. The best cooks in the world tend to be males. Just find something you're good at and really push at it, and find that discipline within yourself to do it.
All right. So let's jump into another male stereotype. What about, I don't know if I brought it up, but boys don't cry. Tell me your thoughts on that.
That actually goes back mostly to Stoic philosophy, and I don't know how much you know about the Stoic system of ancient Greeks.
I don't. Please tell us.
So it was a principle. It was the school of Stoicism, like very ancient, and they would teach young men to be able to take punishment without showing fear and without showing pain. And that has been carried on throughout the generations ever since. And in some aspects, it's exceptionally well. In some, it does tend to be harmful. But when you start looking at, they were taught these things, but they were actually taught to, one, be better people, but two, to be academic as well. And so they were taught to read, write, how to act, how to be proper people. And that has expounded, or actually, it's really gotten concentrated down to boys don't cry, men don't cry. Uh, we all have emotions. It's okay to cry every once in a while. It's not necessarily okay to be a cry baby. And so if you can whine about something, you can think about it and learn how to fix it. And that should be the male approach.
When you say cry baby, how do you mean?
So someone who's always whining, always complaining about something. If you're complaining, you have the mental capacity to turn around and fix it.
Hmm. So, not just, I mean I could say that, for both genders, not just, don't just bitch and complain, like actually do something.
And the reason I do shift that more to males is males tend to set the standard of where society is going to be going, at least through ancient history. And so you have to be able to, get your mind in the right place if you want people to follow you, and you have to lead by example.
We say shift society to where it's going. What do you mean?
So societies always shift in one way or another. Uh, so you have, ancient Romans. They were leading to be the greatest civilization on the planet. A lot of nasty people came into power, which shifted that society into a different, much worse situation, which led to the collapse. And every great society we've ever seen on the planet has pretty much repeated the same mistakes where they're growing, they're prospering, they're conquering all this other territories. And then it rots from the inside. And that's where everything really decays. And if your core, it's like a single human being. If your core deteriorates, you can't keep going out and doing good things. It really goes back to if your body's strong, your mind will be strong. If your mind is strong, your body will be strong. Without one, you start to lose both.
So I'm wondering if it would be different if women directed the way society was going instead of men.
Absolutely. You know, men and women together support the roof. You know, you can't have one without the other. And it's all about balance and co-balance.
So you're saying if it's just women, then it would be imbalanced.
Yeah, because so men can't understand how women work. Women can't understand how men work. It doesn't matter how many years you go to school to learn these things. For each gender specifically, like even within the same gender, you can't understand what another person's doing. Once you get outside the gender, much more difficult. Like it's much more complex. Women tend to be nurturers and givers, and men tend to be providers. And so, you know, it's everything in life is a balancing act. And if one side gets tilted off too much, it's like a Jenga puzzle. It's like you take too many bricks out of one side, it's gonna fall. And so you have too much power on one side, it's still gonna fall. You know, great quote, you know, behind every great man is an even better woman. So it works both ways.
Yeah, that quote implies that the man is in front and the woman is in the back.
You have to look at the time period too. Women weren't allowed a lot of things, which absolutely wrong. But we're in a different age now. Women have as much of a voice, if not more voice, than men do. And so, if I remember right, even Congress is getting close to 50-50 men to women. Like there's been major jumps, even in politics.
Yeah, you know, that's excuse me. The dynamics are changing in politics. There's a lot more women in politics. So do you think because there's more women that policies are shifting, things are shifting because there's more women, or do you think it's going the same as usual?
Policies are shifting, but it's almost like it's going kind of retro at this point, and I haven't quite figured out why. But it seems like things are either progressing so fast or they're beginning to regress. We're living in weird times.
Well, I'm asking, do you think because of there's more women in Congress that's happening?
I mean, I can't really see any huge differences. You know, we got things like Title IX passed in the 70s that gave separate but equal facilities and experiences to females as they do males. You know, I'm trying to think of some policies that outside of that really helped elevate elevate women, even with all of the female members of Congress, and nothing's really coming to me right now. Sorry.
That's
What are you
okay.
thinking?
We'll explore that a little bit. All right. So, but I would think like paid leave, parental leave. I don't know. I'm trying to think like parental leave, maybe more attention to healthcare. Um, Trying to think things like marriage, voting rights. Um, Kind of
Well,
think of
voting rights, that was still with the late 18, early 1900s, and was predominantly pushed by men. Women wanted voting rights much less to an extent than men wanted women to have voting rights.
okay. I think more benefits in the employment.
Yes.
I'm thinking like to be able to breastfeed um, on the job. Maternity leave. Um, I can't think of what else, but I know definitely to be able to breastfeed on the job for sure.
Well, and we're still coming out of the time frame where uh, women are still relatively new in the actual workforce. They've always been there, but now most workforces are about 50-50, or at least 60-30. And so you've got everything still pretty new. And so the US as a whole is still trying to understand what the dynamics of all the issues are, because you got sexual harassment in the workplace and just
Yeah,
different.
definitely sexual harassment for sure. I
Yeah.
think attention to sexual harassment definitely because of women in the workplace.
So the US is very much going through some growing pains, because it wasn't until the 1950s that women really started working in the standard workplace. And so, it's only been 70 years out of 8,000 years of history.
Mm, yes, it's definitely women are trying to change the world. I think I don't know if this is in effect, but the pink tax, which is like women would pay more for um like similar products, like if there's deodorant for men and deodorant for women, deodorant for it can be the same brands, the same shape, the same color, whatever. But men, they're blue and black, and women are like pink, and but it's the women deodorant that they'll charge more. Um, so things
Well,
or
that's also because of market share. So women will expend more for those things than men will. They'll just be like, I'll go without deodorant. I don't care. It's not that big a deal. And so there are differences.
like diapers for boys, diapers for girls. Um, Trying to think of what else. Razors for men, razors for women, things like that. Like the female product will be charged more. I think they're trying to fight that in Congress. I think. Um, what else? Like there's taxing on like feminine products like um, tampons and pads. I don't know if that's too graphic for you. Let's see. I think they're trying to fight the tax on that.
I'm married and have a 14-year-old daughter. Like, we're good.
Yeah. So basically, like women are paying more for feminine products than men are, and I think like Congress is trying to fight that. So
So I don't know many men that buy feminine products, so I can't really get into that much.
Uh, yeah, that's a fair point. um, yeah, but I think basically that I think it's kind of funny that we're talking about this. I think the fact that were women are now in politics, I think that more things about women are being addressed. More laws are trying to be more laws have been made and or trying to be made that will cater to women.
I would definitely agree, and I would have one point, which is um, that the Constitution doesn't necessarily give Congress the authority to regulate most of that stuff. And the only reason they can is because of, I think it's a loophole within interstate commerce that they're using for that. But it's most laws like that should be a states' rights kind of issue.
Mm. All right, interesting. So now, what are your thoughts on? I know. Let's bring it back to common stereotypes now. So another common stereotype I'm thinking off the top of my head is like the portrayal of married men on sitcoms. I think that was a big complaint by men, and that the men are usually fat and stupid, and the women are the smart ones, and
It's the
they're the ones
Homer
trying to
Simpson complex.
fix. What was that?
It's the Homer Simpson complex.
Yes, yes. Can you tell us about it? Remind us what that is.
Uh, I want to say it's supposed to be more of a humorous thing. I'm not easily offended, so portraying, because in most of those, the kids are actually the smart ones. You've got the female portraying the female nurturer, and then the dumpy dad. It's been a thing since the 1950s. Is it a huge deal? I don't think so. But I also don't watch much TV. So.
All right. I mean, in a lot of those shows, it's the men are the stupid ones, and I don't know if it's feminism, but it's the women are the smart ones, and they're the ones saving the day, and and the wife is always right, and the guy is always wrong. And
And it's one of the ways that males are oppressed, just like the book.
Boom, shameless plug.
Gotta take
All
it.
right, so, all right, so tell us about that since you brought it up. Male oppression. What is that? What does that look like?
So it's a humorous historical view that I wrote with my wife, because she's just brilliant at putting words out. And I can give the ideas and stuff like that, and she puts it into a form where people can actually understand it outside of me trying to sit down and type, because I'm not good at it. But it's a historical, humorous view of where we've been, where we're going, what we can do to improve ourselves, what we can do to take back personal responsibility and really get in depth and look at some studies and historical references to where we've been in the past, where we are right now, what's a happy medium, and where we should be looking towards the future and
Hmm.
going.
Awesome. All right. All right. So let's jump into some little bit more stereotypes. Let's try this one. Self-sufficiency. Men should figure things out on their own without the help of others. What are your thoughts on that?
Life's a team sport. You don't look at it, you don't go at anything alone, completely alone. Um, Always reach out for help. And it is a stereotype. Most men talk with other men and try to figure things out, whether it's working on cars or relationships. You've got people who know more than you do all around you. You got some people that always give you bad advice, but for the most part, someone in your community knows what you're going through, knows how to do some things. So it's a stereotype, but I don't necessarily think it's that accurate.
It's not that accurate. What do you mean?
Because you do have communities around you with people that know what they're doing.
Right.
And
So
everybody's got specialty.
So is it, I think it's the idea is that men don't ask for help. So do you think that's true?
I would say men don't generally directly ask for help. They will talk about situations and receive input and then process that input and try to make things work.
Well, they're doing it passively, isn't it?
That is, yeah, absolutely passively.
Okay, so doesn't that tie into the stereotype that men they'll ask, but they'll be sneaky and coy and comedic about it?
I don't necessarily think that would be considered sneaky. It's really just a different way of going about this to get this to the same ends.
Okay, why not just say, hey, bro, I need help.
If you get in a bad enough situation, that's always the next thing to go, right? But if you can figure it out without losing pride.
The key word is pride.
Keyword is pride, one of the 7 deadlies.
Tell us more about pride.
Pride's something you've got to a lot of times take and accept. Pride's not always a bad thing. When it's too much, excess of anything is always bad. Water is a substance of life. If you drink too much, you're still going to die. So pride is good. Honor is good. Too much pride, there's a reason it is one of the 7 deadly sins.
So now, what about the stereotype? I don't know if it's me, but I feel like men are less likely to address health issues as opposed to women are, particularly with mental health. What are your thoughts on that?
I would agree to an extent. Females do need a lot more medical treatments than what men generally do. And men, it's something that you learn at a pretty early age where you just tough it out, get over it, stuff like that. Is it necessarily healthy? No, not at all. But it's part of that, mental fortitude to push on through the pioneer times, push on. And it's just something that you have to deal with on a personal level, where it's like, I only go to the doctor once every 3 years because I'm healthy. Like, I get sick, I lay down for a day and I'm good again. So when it gets bad, you go to the doctor. It's just actually, it might be a time thing with guys too. It's like, I don't want to take the time out of my day just to go see a doctor just to find out I'm fine.
So then what does it say about what men think of the medical community? In that, they kind of think it's beneath them.
I would definitely not go that far. I would just say that it's probably not, they don't see it as quite the necessity that females might.
Right. So you're not worried about prostate cancer. You're not worried about what are some male ailments? I can't think of it. I don't know if I want to get graphic, but
we all have concerns about medical conditions, but it's something like, are you gonna how much time are you going to spend on that? Most
Yeah, colonoscopies.
most men, when they turn 50, they start going in for colonoscopy once a year and doing all that stuff. So there are certain things that, yeah, men have to always watch out for, but it's not like we have to um, go into the OB/GYN once a year for that checkup and stuff like that. So we're just not as well, I don't want to say trained because that's kind of a negative word for it, but we're not as prone to having to go in as much.
Okay. Well, what about mental health? I feel like women are more open about mental health issues than men are.
Um, that one's kind of out of my wheelhouse. I would have to say that if you're talking with your friends, if you're active and stuff like that, the mental health a lot of times doesn't come in as much on males. I
Well,
haven't really.
let me rephrase it this way. In terms of admitting that you're sad, admitting that you're angry, admitting that things are going wrong, I feel like men are less likely to be vocal about it than women are. What do you think?
I can really go at it at a personal introspective portion where I internalize things like that. I speak with my close friends and brothers and stuff like that, and then come to see what the best conclusion is. Learn how to deal with it more internally. So if I get into a negative situation with somebody, I will, if they're just constantly coming at me, I try to internalize it, say, hey, what are they going through? How are they doing it? And process that internally. And so that can govern my reactions with that person moving forward. So, really talking with your community, talking with your spouse, really, really helps alleviate most of that anxiety. And, most mental health really didn't come about until 30, 40, 50 years ago. You had larger communities. You had more interpersonal interactions.
Mm,
Yeah,
I
it
feel.
reminds me of the old Crocodile Dundee when they were talking about you don't go to see a therapist, and he's like, no, we just tell Wally, and he tells everybody else, and the secret's out, and everybody's good.
All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's see. Let's throw in another one. Um. Um. Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at a website. Okay. Here's an. I mean, it kind of plays into what I talked about. A man should be physically attractive, but effortlessly so. Yeah, in terms of males portrayed in the media, I know you don't watch a lot of TV, but even like in magazines and books, like it's, um, and men are either like really fat or like super muscular. Like there's no in between. Uh, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm that in between. Uh, it's you're absolutely right. Like you generally have either the dumpy or you have the super ripped, but it's kind of like females too, where you've got super skinny models, you've got all sorts of dynamics, and 99% of us are in that middle range, right?
Hmm.
And
But I
men,
think men have. I mean, not to jump in, but I think I would push back against that. I feel like men have those they have those polar opposites in the media. you're either really fat or really muscular, as opposed to women are usually like, I feel like they're always skinny and they're always beautiful. So it's like there's no polar opposite for women, but I feel like
Okay.
there's a polar opposite for men.
I think I get what you're going with. Um, I don't think men really compete with each other on attractiveness. I think that's kind of a big key of a difference between men and women.
Hmm.
So men aren't trying to compete about who's the prettiest and all that stuff. Some do, given, but we kind of come at it like, yeah, here we are, take us or leave us, and we will try to impress other guys. We will try to impress females, whereas females are trying to generally, of course, uh, be the prettiest and best and most perfect of their group, which also goes back to ancient history and animals in general. The prettiest one gets to breed first. So
Mm.
the humans are the only ones that actually are one of the only ones where the female has to be the prettiest. So that's an odd, almost exclusively human attribute.
Well, even if you look at like figurines, um, like maybe over the past like 20 or 30 years, the 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 male figurines, let's just like isolate that for a second. Like the male figurines, they're getting muscular and muscular and muscular. Over maybe this has kind of been going on for the past couple decades, I think. And even if you look at video games, over the past maybe 20, 30 years, the male characters are getting even more muscular. And I think they're getting taller, more muscular. You see more veins popping out, right? So just kind of isolating that, the men are getting more muscular. Um, that's there's a stereotype there as well in terms of the portrayal of men in toys for boys and also in video games. What are your
That,
thoughts on that?
that's actually always been a thing. I mean, if you look at the statue of David, extremely ripped, chiseled guy, quite literally because he's in stone. Uh, but you know, men have always enjoyed having great bodies. It's just how much effort are we going to put into it? Because David was probably in his early 20s when Michelangelo was thinking about, I think he was portraying him in his early 20s. And by the time you would get 40 or so, you just kind of start letting that go because those aches and pains really start getting to you.
Hmm. So now, do you feel pressure from society to be more muscular, uh, to be more hypersexual, do you feel that pressure to be more manly, quote unquote?
Well, that's the fountain of youth wish, right? We would all love to be in peak physical condition and in super uh, super super fit, but also uh, super fertile. It just doesn't happen for most of us. So we can work on it. We can work on it hard, and that's just the way things go. But I don't think that there's necessarily a huge pressure. Uh, everybody comes at life at their own direction and their own way, and you have to find your own place.
Right, but then do you think men are under pressure?
I wouldn't say so. Uh, we're giving examples of what peak physical condition is, but that doesn't mean you have to achieve it. it gives you something to work towards, but I wouldn't necessarily say that there's a huge pressure on men to be the most chiseled, most ripped. You know, certainly there are men who have that drive to get to that point, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's huge pressure on men.
I mean, I don't know because I think there's also, I mean, it's not reported a lot, but I know there's cases of like male anorexia, and body dysmorphia in men, and I know it's not reported as a lot, but it does exist.
And everything that you can imagine exists to some form of fashion. But I don't, I'm trying to think of any real examples that I remember uh, where men are pressured into, having perfect bodies and stuff like that, and then it's just really not coming to me. But mental health disorders range in a wide gamut of society, so you always have small percentages of different types of issues.
What about, how graphic can I be?
As graphic as you want to be.
What about large penis sizes? There seems to be there's a lot of pills out there, um, and there's a lot of surgeries out there for men. So I think men are also under pressure to, and I will say it's placed on by women, but even still, like men have, uh, I think men have those pressures in terms of something like that, having a large penis, and having a circumcised penis. So, you know, what do you think of that?
Um, Penis envy has always been a thing, but I know a guy who has a surgical implant, and does it make him more of a man? No. Uh, you can tell some really good stories, and he goes into detail, but it's like, is there real pressure for it? I don't think so. That's kind of it's kind of like women getting breast implants. It's like, it might make you feel better, but is it going to help you out? Probably not.
It's not, I mean, yeah, but it's, again, it's also the women are, there's this societal pressure that in order for a woman to be beautiful, she needs to have large breasts, and that's the pressure on women. So I'm saying, I imagine men have the same pressure, in
Well,
order
a lot
to
of times,
perform better sexually and to get the women, and.
a lot of times for men, that's more of a money issue, because the
Mhm.
more successful the man, the more beautiful a woman he attracts, as a general principle.
So it's not the penis size; it's all about money.
For the most part, the more toys you can buy, the more trips you can take her on, stuff like that. That's where male envy, I think, is more pronounced.
Interesting, interesting. All right, so I think the it sounds like the theme that you're trying to say with all these stereotypes. It's you're saying it's there isn't really a pressure for men to do all these things because it's the same thing is happening to women.
I mean, there's always pressures in life. It's how you accept them and, you know, internalize them and move forward with knowing that there are these pressures. I would personally love to have a bigger body and more muscle on me, uh, but I don't put in the work, therefore can't really expect it.
So it doesn't haunt you at night.
No, sometimes I look in that mirror and say, I should really work out more, and which I do for a couple of weeks, and then I get back off. I'm not necessarily overweight,
Hmm.
but I don't have a six pack. I don't have a 42-inch chest, whatever that goes at. And I know guys that are. I know guys that go to the gym at least 4 times a week. And so, but that's what they want to do. And, I'd rather do other things. So, spending as much time with my kids and my wife as I can, stuff like that. So that's where I put my priorities, and life is about prioritization.
So it's all these stereotypes. It doesn't get to you.
No, generally not. I mean, I do have every intention of going out and, running more and stuff like that to get in better shape. But that's just to extend my life for as long as I can. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's more of a internal pressure for me, at least, of what I want, and then just the drive to go out and ascertain that.
Well, you also have a son, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, your son's gonna have to deal with this. How? I think you said he's a teenager, right?
He's 11.
Okay, so he's in that puberty stage, or about to approach puberty, and the voice is getting deeper, and the hormones are coming in, and he's about to approach he's gonna get to a point where okay.
Sorry, somebody just came to the door, so the dogs are going crazy.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, I'm saying your son, he's about to have to deal with these things and
He
deal with the
is,
questions of being a boy and being a man, and
that's something we have to talk about and work through. So like I say, like everybody comes at it from a different direction, and if he comes to me and asks me questions, we talk about it, and then just trying to be a mentor, but also being humble enough to say, you might not be the best baseball player, basketball player, whatever, but you have to put in the practice to see if you are. So practicing and getting to an understanding of your own abilities, what you enjoy, and then working towards bettering yourself in the long run. So at this time of age, is it better to be the most athletic person, or is it better to be a tech billionaire, or mental health, or attracting a spouse? Go down the list. What avenue do you want to go down to get to be the person you want to be?
All right. So you're not. I mean, it's you want him to lead a life that's more comfortable for him, and not not have to adhere to any stereotypes, or just the thoughts out there that men should be this and men should be this. It's whatever is more comfortable for him.
Yeah, he's extremely smart, and so I really want him to follow the path that he chooses, and just be there to support and love him through it.
All right, awesome. All right, so let's start to wind things down. We may be going into overtime, but that's okay. All right, so do you have any final words of wisdom that you'd like to share?
Really start getting in and disciplining yourself to be a better person, be more honorable, be more charitable, give your time to especially the people that deserve your time. Really get into, I was told by a very wise man once, the most selfless thing, or the most selfish thing a person can do, is be selfless. Because when you put out that good energy of giving of yourself, You get it back times 10.
Awesome, awesome. All right. Well, Chris, thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you for this conversation. So let me put up your banner once again. All right, you guys. So you could find Chris all over the web, you guys. So you can go to his website and you can purchase his book called Male Oppression. You can go to his website, which is maleoppression.com. And you can purchase his book from the website as well. He also has two Twitter accounts, so make sure you follow him on both his Twitter accounts, and you can also follow him on Instagram. And I think I'm missing one, and LinkedIn too, right?
No LinkedIn.
No LinkedIn. Okay. So yeah, so you can. Oh yes, Facebook. Okay. So you can hit him up on both of his Twitter accounts. You can hit him up on Instagram. You can hit him up on Facebook. And if you want to purchase his book, you can go to his website, maleoppression.com. All of this information is scrolling below at the bottom of your screen for our viewers. And for our listeners, all of this information is in the description. So, however, you are taking in this episode, his information is at your fingertips. Do you want to promote anything about your book?
Well, I want to promote the book.
Yeah, promote your book.
But also, everybody get out there, like, share, and subscribe to this video because Gabrielle does an excellent job and she's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate the shout out. All right. So definitely Chris McMichael, go get his book on his website. And I think you said it's on Amazon as well.
It is.
Amazon, Barnes and Noble.
And anywhere ebooks are sold.
Oh, it's not it's an ebook. It's not a hard copy.
Oh, it's hard copy. But that's available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. But it's also available anywhere ebooks are sold.
All right. So there you go. So you can purchase the hard copy of his book, Male Oppression, on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. You can also get the ebook wherever you get ebooks. There you go. And I think but if people go to your site to order the book, they get something special.
It is discounted and it comes in signed.
All right, there you go. So you can get his book through Amazon, through Barnes and Noble. But if you go through his website to purchase the book, you will not only get it discounted, but you will also get it personally autographed. So go to his website, purchase his book. If you still want to go through Amazon and Barnes and Noble and you want to pay more, that's your business. But whatever it is, go get his book. And again, follow him on both of his Twitter accounts, his one Instagram and his one Facebook. So definitely follow him everywhere on social media. All right, Chris, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Gabrielle.
Awesome. All right. All right, you guys. Whew, it is just you and me. That was some heavy talk that we just had there. All right, well, you guys, we have reached the conclusion of our episode. Thank you so much for joining me today. So wherever you are taking in this episode, whether it is on video or it is on audio, please follow and subscribe. If it's video, like us, follow us, subscribe. If it's on audio, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or all of the other podcast platforms, please follow us as well and share. And let us know what you thought about this episode by leaving a comment in the comment section below or in the comment thread. I definitely would love to hear your feedback. And as a reminder, this podcast is a production of A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. So if you would like to learn more about our company, maybe you're looking for a tutor for yourself or for your child, please reach out to us. Our website is www.astepaheadtutoringservices.com. You could also find us all over the web as well. We are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Eventbrite, and WhatsApp. So we are all over the social media. So please go to all of our accounts and follow all of our accounts. I definitely will appreciate the support. But again, if you want to learn more about us, you can go to our website, www.astepaheadtutoringservices.com. And I also want to encourage you to reach out to us because we are offering a 15% discount. So if you reach out to us and you say that you heard about us from Hot Topics, we will give you 15. Sorry, I'm hearing my phone. We will give you 15% off 6 hours of tutoring. I'm going to repeat that. When you reach out to us and you say, hey, I heard about you from that Hot Topic show, we will give you 15% off 6 hours of tutoring. So please, please, please take advantage of that discount. And my sort of final announcement is that I encourage you to sign up for our email list and our texting list. You will receive exclusive offers, promotions, discounts, crazy announcements, whatever it is, all that stuff. You will get all of that when you sign up for our email list and when you sign up for our texting list. So that information, of course, is in the description. So I encourage you to go to the description and go to those links and sign up for those links and sign up for those contact lists today. And it's also scrolling below at the bottom of your screen if you just so happen to be watching this on video. But either way, this information is accessible. So please check out the description to sign up for the email list and or the texting list. All right, so I know we're a little over time, but we're just going to run right through, and I'm going to share this final message before I officially end for the episode.
Hey there, have you heard of us? We're a small team of tutors here at A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. We believe that education and information should be accessible to everyone, regardless of income, race, or creed. We're dedicated to making this happen, but we need your help. Please consider making a donation to our company. No amount is too small. Your donation will allow us tutors to remain employed. Offer free and low-cost services, put on productions like this podcast, and reach out to families nationwide. With your help, we can tackle the academic challenges of our students and the emotional, mental, and behavioral changes that result from these challenges. As a bonus, we can improve our communities in the process. Support us today. Send your donation by Cash App to $ASATS2013, by PayPal or Venmo to @ASATS2013, or by Zelle to success@astepaheadtutoringservices.com. For our Facebook Live viewers, you can also send us a star. Your support means a lot to us. Please note, we're a for-profit company. We're not a charity. Your donation may not be tax deductible. Please consult a tax professional.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us this episode. I look forward to seeing you at the next episode. Thank you again. And now I am signing off. Bye-bye now.